Ayo, what is going on, you guys? Alejandro here, and welcome back to another episode of Magayon. In this episode, we're going to be building a transport hub. We're going to be building a high-speed rail station, an elevated metro line, tram lines, busways, underground highways, and all that kind of stuff. All the transport all in one place. I will be laying the foundation of this transport hub in Magayon. But this is not only a transportation hub. This is also going to be a new city center, because Magayon is not just one single city. It's kind of like Tokyo, where there are multiple cities forming together one megacity, which is Tokyo itself. So yeah, I'm starting off by picking up where we left off in the last episode with the Magayon rework. If you guys haven't checked that out, you can click the link down below or up here to watch the video. But if you can't, here's a little bit of a recap. I just reworked the city because I'm not quite satisfied with everything that I built. I always keep on doing a lot of revisions. If you have been following the series, you'd see a lot of builds not being here anymore, altered, slightly changed, or worse, completely removed. But I assure you, the essence of Magayon will still remain. But yeah, here on this side, I'm reworking the grid to make it a little bit more, proper, because I was building the city and the scale of it was not yet defined, because you never know how big things are until you place things in them. So that's a little bit of a struggle with the series. It's a very hard struggle, if you ask me. If I were just copying a build from somewhere, it would be a lot easier. But since I'm building a brand new stuff based on multiple existing stuff to make one own original stuff, it's a lot harder. And also because I'm trying to pack so many things in one place, it's just a lot harder. So yeah, here I am leveling the terrain, sloping it properly so that para smooth siya. And here I'm placing down the station itself. Now, mind you, once again, a lot of revisions will be happening, but the station itself, like this one that I'm building, this old facade of the station, I'm imagining that this is this is like the first part of the station that was built like a long time ago, and then it expanded to allow high-speed rail. That's why we have glass on top of the roofs there. And this building is by Ernesto, I guess. Basically, I've been using a lot of its assets. I'm a fan of his asset collections in the workshop, and if you guys want to check that out, the asset list is also linked down below. Now, I'm adding in a bit of history to this station. As with all my builds, they are part of a greater lore. And in the lore here, this one is a bit of a newer station. I think this was built during the 1930s or 40s as compared to the one that we built prior, which was during the 1800s, the late 1800s. This one is a lot newer. This was built before the war, I guess. And yeah, since this building is quite small, so you can see, and the width of this lot is quite wide, I decided to place 3 buildings side by side, and to clean it up, the roof, and to make it a little bit more simpler, more squarish, because this is actually a triangle building. I'm using this university library from King Leno, I think. But basically, yes, asset is down below. I will be updating it because it's been months since I've updated the asset list and I've downloaded a lot. But yeah, that's now, as you can see, it's very clean. 3 buildings together, uniform, very nice. You might have seen me place down those buildings there by using Move It. I imported a selection of buildings that I've actually placed here prior to building. I've actually had a revision before this, and there will be another one in the future in the next episode. But yeah, you guys just have to wait and see what changes will happen. But essentially, this will still be a transport hub where we have all the various transportation networks all terminating or having a change here. And here is the elevated train line, and this will lead out into the outskirts of the city. Like, we have 2 terminus terminus buildings. Like this one is heading to the south, and I think it will also head to the west in the future, and it will connect to the bridge in the Magayon Bridge. If you have been following the series, if you haven't, you should. But yeah, will be a lot of reworks will be happening once again. But yeah, I'm just using Shuto. Is this Shuto, the Japanese railway type of trains? And it's a bit of work trying to make it function. You will see me struggle a lot just cleaning up things here and there, and then later on just deleting it because I'm not satisfied. But yeah, it is what it is. This is how architects are, actually. I'm not an architect, but I'm taking architecture, and I know the pain. The struggle is real. That's why I haven't been uploading videos lately. So if you've been, I don't know, like wondering where the new videos are, that's why. Architectural school, yay! First year out of traditional plates and stuff. But yeah, as you can see, I just placed down like a roof there, a green roof. I will not be keeping that later, as you will see, but it might be there in the future episode. Who knows? Magayon is such an ever-changing place. But yeah, here is a bit of work on the highway that I've been working on since January. I mean, last January, and that I stopped for 2 months. And I just decided to, why don't I just, refamiliarize myself with how I was building this system. But essentially, the way this works is that there is an exterior highway, like not a normal highway that is there, but there is an express lane going under it, which is what I also have built prior to this in another segment. So this is another segment of the highway, and I've actually finished up Makati's segment of this. So you can see here, the express lanes go under intersections, and yeah, so that they avoid traffic lights, and people who just want to go through this part of the city won't be stopped by traffic light, and that's quite nice. Now the thing is that I have to take into consideration is the slopes of these things, and sometimes it can get a little bit too steep, but it is what it is. Because you have such a limited space, I think that'll make sense. But since this is a highway, I think I have to smoothen it out a little bit. Under here, I'm just placing down the pathways and the tramways that I built in the previous episode, and I'm also changing the roads here because they actually had bike lanes before, but I realized that this place really wouldn't be safe with a bike lane. Now there are actually concepts for EDSA to have bike lanes, but I don't think this place would need a bike lane because it's noisy, it's narrow, it's a very not a pleasant place to bike on, and also because the city already has a lot of other biking infrastructure, like more dedicated spaces, so I don't think biking is really necessary here. Now here I'm just doing some basic intersection marking tools because people need a way to get in and out of the express lanes, so that's that. The next is the Metro Line, which essentially which used to be like a proper Metro Line. Like in the game it's a Metro Line, but I wanted to make my own custom stations, so I decided to use a train line and just change the asset of the vehicle that's going above it to be somewhat an MRT type building. And this entire Metro Line is actually above ground, not sunken, because I want to get that MRT vibe from the Philippines, and also in Japan a lot of stations there are elevated. The sunken ones are the newer stations and the newer lines, but I don't think I'll be placing any in Magayon because everybody already has like a proper transport system. They have an easy access of moving around the city, especially biking and walking. A lot of people are biking and walking, but the next best thing is the trains, the metro and the train. So I'm just testing out this how this will work. So I placed down these two stations that I made on each end. So this one here is the Makati station, and that one is the I don't know, I think it's Ortigas for now, the Ortigas station. So yeah, the thing is they don't move back and forth like they would actually in real life. Like I have to make loops there so that it'll function. But the thing is, I actually need to have an actual building that is a station so that the vehicles will spawn. Because those stations are actually just, they're just network stations. You have to have an actual building station so that it will be the one that will spawn the buildings. It's like a depot. And yeah, this is the first test and it was a bit not centered, so I adjusted it accordingly. And I first tried out this high-speed train line and fixing up the slopes so that it'll be a little bit more smoother. But then I realized this train is a little bit too fast, so I change that later on. And yes, you can see I'm changing them right now. But yeah, that is my test complete. Now I actually know that the metro will work. The next test will be how to get people into that station. But that's a story for another episode. Getting back to what we're actually doing here, this is now the train connection to the outskirts of the city. It's building some basic shapes here and there, nothing too fancy, and making the heights of it a lot more gradual since it is high-speed rail. And yeah, that is the railway, the foundations of the rail system of Magayon all done. The MRT will also be connected in later episodes, but yeah, I decided to focus on the main station itself, like the old one, so that I'd actually get something done in this episode rather than just having everything all over the place. Well, it actually has been all over the place, but I hope that, it made sense. There's a lot of things going on in this episode. A lot of ideas coming together, and then a lot of ideas that end up in the trash bin. And one of those ideas that ended up in the trash bin was this sign of the I Love Magayon. Because here in the Philippines, you have a lot of signs everywhere, especially if you go to a special place. In every city, there is a huge human-sized letters on the ground that light up at night. And I decided to, what if I place one in front of the station? And then I realized that sort of seemed a little bit corny to have I Heart Magayon in this place, and I wanted to give it a little bit more pizzazz, a little bit more originality. But it's not actually. Ironically, it's not original because I copied this directly from Amsterdam Central Station, the I Amsterdam sign. So this is my take on that. Copying things, but not exactly. You know what I mean? You don't just make a carbon copy of something. You take inspiration from it and adapt it to your surroundings. It's called acclimation. Wow, excuse para makakaya lang. Anyways, but yeah, it is what it is. It's a nice trick because everything that has ever been said has already been said, and everything that's ever been thought has already been thought. So that's just how the world is. And speaking of everything has already been everywhere, I'm once again taking inspiration from multiple types of architecture to form a unique type of architecture in Magayon. And if you haven't been following the series, I have been doing this basically by splicing buildings together. And I did here by using this building, as you can see, the old train station, that's the yellowish one there. I think it's terracotta, I'm not sure. And I'm placing on top of it Thai architecture. This is a Thai provincial station, I think, and I place it on top to give this Asian look to it. Now it really sells the Magayon vibe, doesn't it? It's very, very chic, very, very nice. I like it. It's very good. And yeah, I'm just changing up the trees. I was trying on placing down if this tree looks nice, this tree looks nice. A lot of things when designing the buildings is what actually happens. It's just a lot of rotating, moving around, and trying things out. But all you see is, I try to just cut things up and make it clean, removing the errors I have for the video. But yeah, a lot of attempts have been made. Here we have a park that's going to be built in later episodes. It's going to be where people are going to sit down on while they're waiting for the station, and they can look towards the capital. building, because this is terminating point of the radiating avenue, which is very significant for the city. And yeah, I'm also changing in the roads, changing in everything, making everything work smoothly. This tram line has to be changed because it works, but it's not efficient, so it will be changed in later episodes. And now I'm just building up the place, building the place up, placing in some buildings, some placeholders, just to get the vibe of what the place will be. But then later on I decided to change the vibe. But yeah, this will be a new city center, so you'd expect a lot of tall buildings here and there, more commercial, more offices, and high density residential, because the space in the city is quite limited. But we will be having like suburbs or like low density in the city, but it will be for the rich or heritage buildings, because we're taking inspiration from Singapore and public housing, all that kind of stuff, mixed with everything here and there. So yeah, let's go into more detail by hopping on over to the live play so that you'd have a better understanding of what we built. And welcome back to the live play. This is now what I built so far in this episode. Now, I said that I will be building a lot, but I wasn't able to finish everything. Like, we still have to work on the station right here. I need to fix that up because nobody's actually using it. They just stop here. Yes, I've actually tried placing down these roads, but I'll be placing down actual platforms and fixing up the mess. The highway underneath it still needs more work, and the entire system still needs work done because this is still not connected with everything else. As you can see, we only have like a trial run that I tried, which is through Makati and to here, and I will be extending it further. The frame rate. Now I'll be extending it further into Tutuban here. It will go here instead of here because the is here. It will go in the middle of the roads, which is not that good because if you know in Manila, like the LRT line going through Manila, the buildings there, it's too cramped and it's dark. But yeah, it is what it is. Here is the station that I've ended up with for now. It's just, the station gathered together. I don't know if it works. We'll see. In the next episode, we'll see if it works. But at least we have actually finished something in this episode, unlike the previous ones where I just leave a lot of things unfinished. I'm looking at Chu Makati. I mean, Makati is kind of finished. Mayon. As you can see right there, I already placed down some homes. Oh, the bridge. Beautiful bridge. The bridge will be the train, as I've said. It will... Okay, if I just zoom out, it will go to this side, and it will also turn right and then go into the bridge to the other side. Yes, that's how it is. And if people want to like go to the other side of the city, they'd probably do an exchange here. I don't know. But yeah, that is the station. I've also placed down some buildings just to get the vibe of it. I'm gonna be making it like a lot of tall buildings in this vicinity because you really like to maximize the area here, and also because the skyline here from the Capitol building, I want to form something like the what's the place in Paris, the place behind the Arc de Triomphe. La Défense. I think it's La Défense in Paris. So I'm getting that vibe here. But as you can see, by the way, there is an Arc de Triomphe here, but I made it Southeast Asian by adding the thigh roof above it. I was thinking on placing it here for the I was first thinking to place it here, and then nobody's actually driving here, so I don't think that would make much sense for the drivers. I mean, the traffic here is not that high, so I want to place it in somewhere where more people would actually see it, and I decided to place it here. So I decided that I'll be keeping this avenue here because more people are driving using this, and also later on here. And this will be reconnected once again, so that this will be the access road that will lead to the south. Because the tower is right here. Is it too far away? We don't know, but the spark is very iconic and we love that. And here is also another one. It's also very iconic. I think this one is the more iconic place to be in. I think the scale, the distance of the everything is balanced perfectly with the lights and everything. But yeah, still needs more work to be done. Most of these places will be just medium density residential. Yes, people are actually driving through this. But yeah, this is the station itself that I've finished. As you can see, the old station, it doesn't really function at all, but I placed a road that goes directly there, so people would be using that. And I added in some trees on the side of the road, tram stops in front of it. I will also be placing a bus stop, but that will be along the highway because I have a bus line that will go parallel with the metro. Because why not? We gotta place a lot of transport. Let's just imagine that there's tons of people going here, and the bus is like a secondary options. It has more stops than the train because the metros are farther apart. But yeah, a lot of biking infrastructure here. As you can see, people are already starting to move in because I already have apartments here and there. The way these buildings are like framed, as you can see, this one, it makes like a proper like and I'll be making this into a bit of a New York style so that there wouldn't be that much shadows cast. You know, the setbacks, like where they get narrower as they get higher, something like this. Yeah, I'm gonna be placing New York style buildings here. This will be a bit of a newer area built during the 1930s, but the tall buildings will be very new after we've upgraded the system to high-speed rail. And yeah, I guess that is all that I have for you guys this episode. Next episode, we'll be fixing up the things we've left, unfinished. And if you guys want to check those videos out, please click the notification bell down below so you'd be updated whenever I upload a brand new episode. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. Click like, comment down below what you want to see next. And if you guys want to show your support to the channel, consider becoming a patron on patreon.com/Calejandro and get exclusive content, early access, and so much more. This has been Calejandro, signing off. Bye!